I would like to talk about speaking through the need. Do you strive for a more profound emotional connection to your work as an actor? In this video, I will provide a practical solution to this very common acting problem. I will explain what it means to speak through the need as an actor, and I will introduce and explain a very profound exercise called the phone call that will help you achieve this in a powerful and artful way. Every actor strives to find a profound, deep emotional connection to their work. However, the pursuit of this emotional freedom can often be met with obstacles and confusion about how to start. I had this exact problem as a young actor, starting my journey studying the craft of acting in New York City. I wanted to go deeper emotionally so badly, and yet I was stuck with the urge to chase it and to push like crazy and to overdo it and tear down the scenery and rip things apart on stage. I was grasping at everything and anything to try to achieve this, and there was nothing that remotely resembled anything close to vulnerability. And like all actors, my path was uniquely and specifically my own. And this goes the same for you. If you're in pursuit of discovering how to go deeper in your emotional life, we're all unique and we're all special, and we have our own path to achieving that kind of profound thing. We have to learn more about ourselves. We have to study. We have to practice. And we have to do some soul searching. When I met my mentor, Susan Batson, she was the first teacher that really helped me learn about tapping into my deeper emotional life. And one of the things that she told me, I was probably in my early 20s, she said, you will find your vulnerability through your rage. And this was specific to me. She was right. Once she told me this and suggested that I experiment with that, I would bring that to the table whenever I had to do an exercise or whenever I had to work on a scene or a monologue. I would go through my rage, and then on the other side of it, I would find my way into my vulnerability. This advice worked for a few years. But as I grew, not only as an actor, but also as a human being, I found that I didn't need to rely on moving through my rage to find my way to my vulnerability, that it was actually much more accessible. As I got older, I was able to tap into that part of myself with much less of a fight and much less of a struggle, and it was actually accessible through more of an ease and patience. And this was, again, my own journey. Your journey will be completely unique and different. But what's great is that the art form and engaging with the art form of acting in a healthy way, this will help you achieve all of those things that you desire to achieve in the pursuit of deepening your emotional connections. Talking about this further, I'd like to define what it means to, as an actor, connect to our need. So every human being has a need. Need is a term that you hear in the art form of acting quite often. What is the need that's driving my character? What is another way of describing it is what is unfulfilled inside of my character? And another way of looking at it is what is the vulnerability inside of the character? That's what we mean by need. It is something essential that is not met. It might be a need to be loved. It might be a need to be taken care of. It might be a need to be celebrated. It might be a need to be respected. And the way that the actor taps into this is by understanding what it means when this need is not met. And that's what creates the energy. Now, when you work with this ingredient as an actor, the first thing to keep in mind is that you are not chasing a result of an emotion. This is something that I bring up often, but it's important to constantly visit it as a reminder, because actors many times get concerned about, how am I going to get there? The more practical approach is to think of the need and understand the need as a sensation. That's a totally different story than trying to think of, oh, I have to hit this emotion. When you think about need as a sensation, it's something that happens inside of your body. And rather than think of it emotionally in emotional terms, you think about it in physical terms. For example, what does the need feel like? First of all, where does it live? Where does it exist in my body? You might feel it in the middle of your chest. You might feel it in your stomach, like a sharp pain. It might go through your legs. You might feel it in your face. There's no right answer as far as how the need is going to manifest physically inside of you as the actor. So that becomes the adventure, and the journey is to try to find out where does it live inside of me. When we truly feel the need in our body, it feels intense. It's like a really unbelievable craving, like a junkie that needs a fix, like you're gonna die if you don't get it met. This might sound strange to non-actors to hear this type of terminology, but as an actor, there is a unique sense of joy when we learn what it means to channel that energy into a character and speak the character's words through it. So the ability for the actor to speak through the unfulfilled need is one of the highest skills that we strive for. The need itself, as a sensation and as an energy, is messy. The actor's job is to have the ability to speak the words of the character through this messy stuff. And this brings me to the exercise. It is a very powerful exercise called the phone call exercise. The phone call exercise helps the actor attend to two different, very important layers. The first layer has to do with the unfulfilled need, which is connecting and speaking through that unfulfilled need to a specific person. The second layer of the exercise is connecting and endowing the fourth wall, because in everyday life, when we talk on the phone, many times we go down, or we don't focus our eye line in any particular direction. This creates a problem in the art form of acting, because the actor needs to, if they're on camera, we have to be able to see inside of the eyes of the actor so that we can see into your soul. So the fourth wall not only helps you stay open, so it's a little bit of a technical thing so that we don't lose your eyes when you're on the telephone, but it also takes care of your sense of connection to who you're talking to and your sense of privacy, that you're not feeling the camera intruding into your private space. But it also feeds you moment to moment and keeps you connected to the need. It also acts as a partner, so that hopefully as you go through the exercise and explore, you'll be surprised. by different things that come up. The way that you put the exercise together is you choose a specific person that you're going to make this phone call to. Of course, this phone call would never happen in real life. That's why it's called art. In art, you're safe at all times. There's no consequences of any kind, and nobody is going to know that you're making this phone call. So the assignment is you have to choose the strongest person that is responsible in some way, shape, or form to this unfulfilled need, all the way back to your childhood. It is always, without exception, your mom or dad. So, you choose which person would be the strongest and most difficult person to confront in this way, and then you build your fourth wall. What you do is you break the fourth wall into 3 specific parts. And you can think of it as if you're doing it on camera, or you can even think of it as if you're in a theater. So in the center, which for our purposes with this camera here, we would put the person right next to the lens. If you look down the barrel of the lens straight into the lens, that's more of a stylized choice. If you're doing a film that's like a Jonathan Demme shot, where some characters look directly down the barrel of the lens. For our purposes today, we're just going to choose just to the left of the lens, and that's going to be where you put your person. The person that you're talking to, the person that you've chosen, mom or dad. Then, just to the left of that person, you're going to think about an object. The object can be anything that reminds you about your unfulfilled need. Something from childhood, something that you owned, something that the person had. Just go with whatever comes up and whatever feels the strongest to you. Again, there's no right or wrong answer. Then, to the right of the person, you put a place. And the place can be something that's connected to a memory. Could be your childhood home, your bedroom when you were a child. Again, anything that connects you to the unfulfilled need. And what you do is you give yourself some time before you actually attempt the exercise. And again, this can be done alone. This can be done in front of a coach, or it can be done in a group class environment. You give yourself a little bit of time, maybe a few days, to just every day for a little bit each day, just work on connecting to your fourth wall. It helps to let it build and to practice how you connect to these 3 things so that you're not self-conscious about them by the time you do the exercise. You're building a muscle. So practicing it a few days before you actually attempt it can be very beneficial. So in other words, it can be while you're washing the dishes, while you're watching TV. You put up the 3 things, you put one thing up at a time, you connect to it, you partner with it and wait for the sensation to hit you, and then you let it go and you move to the next one. So that by the time you get to a few days later or a week later, it's alive. The other thing that you can do to prepare is you can write out the phone call. Not as a script, because you're going to attempt the exercise as an improvisation. It's just for you, writing it down and seeing where your need takes you. And again, remember, this exercise is for you. It's about you honoring your unfulfilled need and speaking through that stuff and expressing all that stuff to the person. If it's difficult, it probably means you're on the right track. When you attempt the exercise, you put away your notebook and you allow yourself just to start with some lead time where you can be in your privacy. You can be connecting to the fourth wall and thinking about the person, and then thinking about your need, connecting to the sensation of that need. The simplest, most efficient way to connect is to think about what you need to say to that person. And thinking about what you need to say, it never fails. It will open up that sensation like a flower. And allow yourself to go to the phone. And once again, it's an imaginary phone call. This call would never happen, and it would never go this well, because in real life, there's all kinds of other stuff that comes in and gets in the way of us really expressing our stuff. So that's what is so beautiful and powerful about being in a space of art. And then you explore. And rather than talk about the need clinically, like from the outside, almost like just giving it lip service, you're trying to speak through the difficulty of that sensation. And if you can do that in this exercise, even just a little bit, you are well on your way to achieving the magic that every actor needs to know how to do. It doesn't matter what it is. It could be Shakespeare, or it could be the climactic scene of a film where your character has to speak through the most difficult human stuff, the messy stuff. And if you can achieve that in this exercise, you can do it with Tennessee Williams, Aaron Sorkin, Shakespeare. And even though the phone call exercise is one of the most difficult exercises, and believe me, I've seen millions of them, the joy that comes through you being able to speak through that level of difficulty in the art form is priceless. I wish you the best of luck in your pursuit and in your journey of learning what it means to speak through the need. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and subscribe for more videos like this one. Click on the description below for links to our website as well as our free weekly newsletter. Thanks for watching. See you on the next one.